What's good, you guys? This is your boy, B-Shack of Incoming Kingdom, or Brandon Bashak. And I know it's been a minute since I've done one of these videos, but forget all that. I'm back. All right. So, what subject I want to talk about today? Locks. All right. Now, why do I want to talk to y'all about locks? Well, I want to talk a little bit about the history and the ancient origins of locking your hair. Why did people do it? Why did they start it? I'm going to go through some historic evidence that predate the flood, from the ancient Hebrews all the way to Adam, all the way to even Yashayah, and show some of the popular characters that we know that actually lock their hair. All right, we're going to break down the language, go through some readings, and really see the deeper meaning of the word locks. What was the reason? And this also goes a little bit into why I even locked my hair. And so, hope y'all stick with me on this journey. I know it's going to be a longer video, but hey, it'll be well worth it. And let's learn a little bit about locks. The actual Hebrew word that locks is translated from, makalafa, and it's translated to locks, in different versions. And this is what the Hebrews really originally call it. Some of us call it dreadlocks, and some of us say locks, but the Hebrews called it makalafa. Now let's see what makalafa actually means in its deeper proto-Sinaitic meaning. First letter we have is meme. It's represented by water. What is usually used at, and if it's at the end of a word, what it's also used at. It can mean water, living water, liquid, Messiah, nations, people, mighty, come from. The next we have is chet. It's pictured by a tent wall. It can mean fence, inner chamber, refuge, life outside, divide, half. Our next letter is lamed, and is represented by a shepherd's staff. It can mean voice of authority, staff, goad, teach, leading, yoke, bind, control, or guide. Ooh, this is a long word, y'all. We have peh, is represented by a mouth. It can mean mouth, words, ask, command, speak, scatter, edge, hear, present, open, below. Hey, it is a man with his arms raised. Y'all usually see me wear a necklace with that one. Behold, lo, see, look, show, revelation, light, reveal, window, breath, what comes from. Now, all in all, this is what the word looks like in Hebrew. And if we were to put all the words together and their meanings, we can spell the sentence, a mighty life, binding and commanding revelation. The Nazarenes known to be consecrated to the Most High and to be revealers. The Messiah himself and the followers of him were known as Nazarenes in the New Testament, kind of based off of the Nazarite vow in the Old. Now, jumping all the way down to the Israelite bloodline. In Numbers chapter 6, we have what's called the Nazarite vow. They wouldn't drink any strong drink or liquor, not cut their hair. They would have locks here, as you can see, and basically just grow them long in consecration to the Most High. First source, Book of Remembrance of Our Ancient Grandmothers. You can look this up. This is basically translated from what's said to have been ancient tablets that existed pre-flood. It was used with Urim and Thummim, the same, I want to say, stones, rocks, crystals that the Levite priests used to get wisdom from the Most High. Now, if you want to look up the site to where you get these books, I believe it's the Brotherhood of JesusChrist.com, where the translator makes these available. But so, Kava or Kawa is Eve, and Yatzikad is Adam, because Adam just means man. He saw that they were very brown and that their hair was tied in braids. You can take that as locks, braids, whatever. This is supposed to be a description of ancestor Enoch or Chanakh. As you can see, Enoch grew. He would comb his hair with a menorah brush. Baraka, his father, braided his hair to what they say is the power side and wandered around his head in the same direction as the sun moves around the heavens, and it's piled on his head to look like a turban. I know some lock styles that look like a turban. I would imagine them to look something like this, like my guy D1, wound around his head, turban locks. Let's view a couple more people who had makalafa. If you go to Judges 13, the story about Samson, you can see here in verse 3, conceive and bear a son, and no razor shall come upon his head. The child shall be a Nazar an Elohim. So we know Samson had locks. We even have this piece here of Samson found in Mayan pyramids. So this is Mayan artwork of him being shown carried off by the Philistines. And it shows his 7 locks that he had according to scripture. And we know he had 7 locks because in Judges 16, it shows where he told Delilah, if you weave the 7 locks of my head with the web. Kind of makes you think about wicks, like Florida folk, right? Ancestor King Shalam or Solomon in the Song of Solomon 5, verse 2 even says, for my head is filled with night mist, and my locks, or makalafa, with moistures of the night. Here in the Song of Solomon, we can see here, Queen of Sheba, his head is glittering gold, his locks are penniless and black as raven. Boy, she loved him some Solomon, huh? Now, I'm going to show you here that even Yeshayah HaMashiach, or Jesus Christ, had locks according to the word. And this is why it's important not to just read things in the English language, because when you break them down in the Hebrew or Greek it was translated from, you get the actual meaning and what the word actually meant, okay? So peep this, Revelations 1, chapter 14, Bible Hub Interlinear Bible. The word for hairs is the Greek word shrieks, 2359. 2359, tricks. We can see KJV and ASB translated into hairs. But when we see the word origin from come or comb, we see that the word also means head of the hair, locks. And down here in Strong's Concordance, also locks. And this shows in the Greek language, they knew Yeshayah had locks. This is one of the oldest known depictions of Yeshayah in the Coptic Museum of Cairo, Egypt. You can look this up yourself. But as you can see, all brown skin. The disciples have afros, probably growing their hair out to get locks just like him. And Yeshayah has a bun here when you zoom in, also having locks. And to put the cherry on top for my extra Paul lovers, he was also a Nazarene, most likely having locks once he started to follow the Mashiach. We can see here in Acts, King Agrippa is persuaded by Paul to be a Nazarene. Acts 24, we can see here, talking about Paul, a ringleader of the sect of a Nazarene. This was an Israelite tradition passed down from the Hebrews all the way most likely from the antediluvians like Enoch and Adam and Eve. So why did I make this video? Just to show you guys the importance and depth of what locking your hair originally meant. The Hebrews, the bloodline history precede all the ancient civilizations that you know of. These people lived and were known even before Egypt and Samaria were established through Enoch to Adam. And it's up to you, if you believe the word is a history book in that way, but this is just to show you how deep the meaning of locking your hair is. No, you don't have to not drink. No, you don't have to be plant-based. If you're convicted to, go for it, right? But it just shows that this was something that was a consecration to the Most High. And through the language, through what we went through, we can see that it was a very deep thing, not taken lightly. And so, but hey, do what you do, just adding some knowledge to your life. Deuces.